He says, I'm going to live right downtown where I can see it all. I got more than I was asking for. But, having said that, we had to find a fee proposal, people, that fit everything, that fit all classifications. I had one superintendent tell me this, Tony, I don't understand why you're beating yourself up over this. This is a very simple answer to the solution, or solution to the problem. I said, what is it? You just simply apply a fee based on the classification of the school. I said, what do you mean? Well, you pay small schools, you pay them 35, 2A's you pay 45, 3A's you pay 55, 65, 75, all the way to 5A's. How hard is that? I said, you hadn't officiated very long, had you? I never officiated. I said, go figure. Anyway, we couldn't do that. What would that do to the small schools? Who of you that are on the upper echelon in this room would go call anything other than a 5A game if you could help from it? You wouldn't do it. That didn't make sense. There were a lot of things that didn't make sense. An absolute lot of things that didn't make sense. So what we came up with, and I think you'll see it, reflected from El Paso, Texarkana, Amarillo, down to Brownsville. Makes sense. It makes sense for all schools. Is it going to hurt them? Yeah. It's going to hurt them a little bit, people. It is going to hurt them. Once again, getting back to their budgets have been cut, but we've raised the fees in some places over 30%. Over 30% fee increases. Once again, across the board, it is going to hurt them. They're going to find a way. All right? We also talked about what you guys need as officials. When you walk in the gym, you need a game administrator. I want to give you a little story about what I've already done this year. Is I walked into an office that didn't have any bylaws, the Constitution, or Bible, or anything. I didn't have any rules. I don't have any strings. All right? I don't have any strings. I run the officials department. Okay? But as I walked in there, I got my first call, and I run elk hunts too. And so my first break from the office on the middle of September, I've been in the office like that for 40-some days. Told Dr. Pride, I said, I got to get out. I got a couple elk hunters. I'm going to run off west and guide these elk hunters. And I was on top of the mountain. I hunted in the morning. I get to the top of the mountain where I got satellite service on my phone. And I get up there and rest underneath the cedar tree. Phone blow up. You know, been in the job for 30, 40 days, and everything's kind of getting heated. Just blow up. And an official called me. He said, Mr. Timmons, I know you don't know me. I'm a football official out in Lubbock, Texas. And here's the facts. For those of you who might have been fed information that was not the fact. I said, what's the problem? He said, well, I've been official over 23, 24, 25 years, and I can't get a varsity schedule this year. I said, why not? Well, I went on a vacation in Alaska for a week, and the deadline test for football was August 31st. And my wife and I had a pretty good time. We ended up staying for 3 weeks. So as I came back, I missed the deadline for football. I said, oh, it's probably not good. He said, no, it's really not good. I said, what'd they do? You know, take the game away? I said, no, they took my whole schedule away. I said, whole schedule? What do you mean? My whole varsity schedule. All I can call is junior varsity ball. That's it. So how long have you been fishing? 23, 24, 25 years, whatever. And it makes it even worse. I'm on a crew that has over 100 years of football officiating experience. 100 years of officiating experience. And I said, so you're not going to get to officiate because you were a little late in taking your test. Passed the test, by the way, obviously. You'd hope, 20-something years. Because you didn't turn in the test on time. Now, granted, there needs to be a problem with that. There needs to be penalties, whatever that penalty is. I agree with that. Whatever that local chapter's decision is based on what the rules and regulation and Constitution and bylaws is, needs to be adhered to. And when I asked the president of that particular chapter, are you sticking to your policy? He said, well, it's not our policy. It's the policy of TASO. I said, well, that doesn't really make sense. I mean, why would they keep a guy that has the experience that you have off the game of football for as long as they have, just because you didn't meet a deadline? I understand implementing, you know, a little penalty or punishment of whatever kind, but taking your whole schedule away? And as I sat there on the mountain, I'm listening to this deal, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm saying to yourself, there's got to be more to the story. And as I got back and I started calling around and verifying this guy's story, I'm thinking, this is a guy who didn't get elected to a board. He's a little disgruntled. I've heard this story 1,000 times. I want to hear some more. I found out this guy's one of the pillar of the communities. This guy's looked up to every official in the area. This guy's never had any problems in the past. Not one thing. So I did what made sense. I told the president, I said, you got 48 hours. You make sure he's on the field on Friday night.
Bye.
Listen, I don't know if you can do that. I'll have to check with the leaders of PASO, and then we'll need to figure 48 hours, call me. Why? Because it was the right thing to do. Next thing you know, the phone blows up. Oh my God, yeah, we're getting him on the field, but he's on the field, no problem. We appreciate the help and support. All right? You had a whole crew that was fixed to be penalized. You had a whole team, schools, everybody that was going to be penalized for something that didn't make sense. Made simple sense. 48 hours, I mean, that was 24 more hours than I thought he needed, you know? By the way, for those of you who haven't taken your test yet, I put the November 13th deadline. I set those dates. I set all the tests. I randomized everything. I set all that stuff up. Just know that Mississippi allows its officials to take the same test you are 2 days. 2 days they open the test up. You take that test in 2 days and you become a Mississippi official, or you don't. Now, I had been all the way all over Mississippi. I gave y'all a little bit more time than that. All right? Do not call me if you're a registered official in here and you don't take your test on time, all right, and you're grabbing at James or Lee and you didn't get a schedule. All right? I'm not going to pull that for you. Okay? That's plenty of time. That's plenty of time. Let me give you another case, an example happened this year. Once again, I don't have the Bible in front of me. I don't have anything in front of me telling me exactly this is what you need to do. Group of officials called, and they said, you're not going to believe this, Mr. Timmons. They said, we had a lady that came out on the football field after our first 8th grade football game and began to chew us out. And we're sitting there as a crew, and I mean, she starts telling us that we're bad officials, and we didn't do this, and we should have done this, and we should have won for 2 minutes, she went on, telling us about this, that, and the other. And I said, what happened? We finally had our dinner for ourselves, and guess who she was? Game administrator. Game administrator. And as they went on and on and on, she went on telling this, that, and the other, and they got a little heated battle. Finally, they just separated themselves and ended up getting away from them. As I called and confirmed it with every single official, and then confirmed it with the ADs of that particular school, it was all the same. It happened. It was the truth. I need a written apology to all 4 officials in the next 48 hours. 48 hours. The assistant superintendent told me, Mr. Timmons, I've never heard of that. I mean, we've never had to do anything. I don't need to hear all that. 48 hours. I want those officials to have a written apology for this young lady to those officials immediately. Why? Because it made sense. Because they deserved it. All right? That's representation. Don't ask me to spell it, because I will. For those of you who wondered if the UI was going to support you, if you were going to finally have accountability and representation in the state of Texas as you so rightfully deserve in the most thankless job in Texas. There is not a more thankless job than what we do as officials. There is not. I don't need to hear all that stuff. Coaches get patted on the back by the players even. Who do we get patted on the back by? Nobody. There is not a more thankless job. The only reason you do what you do is the passion that we all share. That's why you do what you do. You love the game. You want to give back. Some of you, your wife forced you out of the house. You need to lose a little weight. But for whatever the reason, you love what you do. You're here tonight because of the friends around you. Right? You didn't show up for a heated battle. We are tired of all the politics. We're tired of all the games. We want a process that's very transparent, very clear, and very defined. You have that, and you will have that going forward. As I built the companies and the businesses that I did, all right, trust me, I did not go out there with an A to Z guideline of exactly what I needed to do. All right? I didn't have it all the way down to the ballpoint pen. All right? Now, I sleep with my attorney. She happens to be my wife. Makes it pretty easy sometimes to be able to ask questions, all right? I live with limited liability company right beside me, all right? Indemnity agreement from head to toe. But the bottom line is this. I don't have this master plan of where we're taking this officials deal, and nor do I want one. As I started traveling around initially and making phone calls and talking to people, they go, Mr. Timmons, where's your 3-color trifold brochure? I don't have one. Well, how come you didn't get one? I purposely did not want one. I didn't want a bunch of brochures and fancy literature and all this hoopla that might surround a lot of grand opening situations. I wanted a message. I wanted it direct, I wanted it clear, and I wanted it concise. I wanted to tell people exactly what I said today, and have the message the same tomorrow. And I didn't want it to change the next week, and it won't, and it hasn't. There's not a single thing, once again, that I won't say tonight that you won't hear me preach or tell you next week, the next month, or the following year. It doesn't mean things won't change. They might change. But guess where the change is going to come from? Right here.